Folks, it's one of the oldest events in the PGA Tour. It's usually one of the toughest. We're getting you teed up for the Valero Texas Open. As the past champion battles an illness, we're going to have those details.
And Bubba Watson is in China this week on the European Tour, and he tees off in just 90 minutes. We'll examine what Bubba needs to improve most to earn his first win in 14 months.
Plus, where does Ben Hogan rank on our list of the top 5 golfers to ever come out of the Lone Star State? All that and more as Golf Central comes your way now.
Golf Central, brought to you by Titleist.
The last 5 winners of the Valero Texas Open are all in the field this week and ready to tee it up at TPC San Antonio. Last season's champ, Charlie Hoffman, is trying to become the first player to successfully defend this title since Zach Johnson in 2009, as they say, in the Lone Star State. Howdy, y'all.
Get the hats.
Sound pretty good? Welcome to Golf Central. Lisa Cornwell, George Stavrikas. If you're looking for an early favorite, it would be hard to pass on Hoffman, a combined 43 under par since this event moved to TPC San Antonio in 2010. 29 shots better than any other player.
Definitely not Charlie Hoffman's first rodeo when he's coming to the Valero Texas Open, though he did come up short at the Masters when he was just a couple off the lead going into the final round. Of the past 5 champs, only one guy has been able to break through and win a major. That was Jimmy Walker at last year's PGA Championship. We know Jimmy Walker's been battling an illness. 2015 Valero Texas Open champ is once again in the field this week. Chantel McCabe is reporting from San Antonio. What more can you tell us, Chantel?
Well, George, Jimmy Walker was initially diagnosed with mono at the beginning of April. Then he revealed today some big news. Wednesday of Masters Week, he was diagnosed with Lyme disease. He told me that since November, around Thanksgiving, he started feeling really sluggish, kind of groggy, and really unmotivated, which was highly unusual for him. And it came out of nowhere and would come and it would go. And then he told me that he never did get that bullseye mark, the rash that can come with a Lyme-infected tick bite. Only 30% of people who have Lyme disease get that, so he just assumed at 38 years old he was starting to slow down and the schedule was wearing on him, but now he knows that wasn't the case.
I didn't really know anything was wrong. I finally just got to a point where I said, something's wrong, I don't feel good, and I need to get something figured out. You know, it basically feels like you got the flu, no strength, just got nothing, and it comes and goes in waves. You never know when it's going to pop up. I mean, like today, I didn't feel great this morning and just felt really just not good, and then all of a sudden it kind of goes away, and for a couple holes out there I felt great, and then it comes right back. So Augusta week, I felt like I had a pretty good week. I felt nice and solid all week. Anti-inflammatories like Advil kind of kicked some of the symptoms a little bit. I had a really rough week at Honda, but it just comes and goes. There's no rhyme or I can't figure any rhyme or reason out, but I'm ready to get over it. I know that.
Jimmy, you've been surprised that you've been able to kind of play through this and play reasonably well despite this?
Well, I didn't really know. I mean, I just knew I wasn't feeling real well, and I didn't know why. I was like, man, am I old now? Am I getting old? Is this what getting old feels like? I don't like it if this is what this is. And I feel like I try to stay in pretty good shape and relatively healthy, but it's just not a fun way to live. It's hard to describe. It's not fun. Like, it puts you in a bad mood. You just don't feel good. I mean, you just feel awful, like a lot. And it's just not fun. So I'm ready to get back to having full energy and feeling good and being able to, you know, play with my kids the way they want to play and not go home and just feel like, you know, just a rock. So I'm ready to get going. I mean, I'm not blaming anything on golf or the way I felt on golf. I go out and I give it all I got, and I've been practicing and giving it everything I can give it. So that's it.
Now, to put this into perspective, this is a serious illness, and if you don't catch it right off the bat, it can lead to serious nerve damage and even mess with your mind a little bit, making it difficult to drive and to sleep. But luckily, they caught it in what they think are the early stages, and Walker tells me he's not on antibiotics yet. In fact, they don't even know what the treatment will be quite yet because there's no one-size-fits-all treatment. People react differently to different things. Right now, he is taking Advil to curb those flu-like symptoms that he talked about and help with that grogginess, but he is going to be playing this week. Today, he said he felt sometimes good, sometimes bad. As he said, it's very unpredictable. He said the hardest part of this is the frustration knowing that it's going to be a long way until he has this treated and managed, and he calls this, quote, the new normal. George?
Alrighty, thank you, Chantel. I've had that. It's no joke. Let's welcome in Colt Knost, a new addition to the Golf Channel family, 07 U.S. Amateur champ, 7 years on tour. A lot of nicknames. We'll get into those another show, Colt. Welcome aboard. You've played this course a number of times, TPC San Antonio. Definitely one of the tougher ones on tour. What are 3 keys to success?
Yeah, for sure. This is definitely one of the harder non-major events of the year. Keeping the ball in play is huge here. Just off the fairways, there's tons of brush and trees that you can get locked up in, as we saw Kevin Na a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's one of the biggest keys, is keeping the ball in play, just not getting it too far out of play.
And we see how windy it is each and every year.
For sure. That's one of the major defenses this golf course has. You get a lot of crosswinds out there. It can be very gusty, and that's one of the reasons it plays so difficult.
And then the last key, the par 5s, you can't exactly make hay on them.
No, exactly. It ranks 3rd on the PGA Tour in toughest par 5s, only behind Oakmont last year and Firestone. It's every one of them has challenge all around every shot,
yeah.
And it's just tough to make a lot of birdies out there.
And it's pretty amazing to think both those were par 70 layouts. So
exactly.
This was 4 par 5s that ranked the 3rd toughest on tour. All right, thanks, Colt. We'll have more with you in just a bit. With past champions like Jimmy Walker, Zach Johnson, and last year's runner-up, Patrick Reed, you're going to catch all those guys, see who will shine in the Lone Star State. Our coverage of the Valero Texas Open begins tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Lisa?
2-time Masters winner Bubba Watson is returning to the Shenzhen International for the 3rd year in a row. Bubba is seeking his first win in this event after a tied for 29th showing in 2015 and an 8th place finish last year.
I love coming back here because of the night golf, but yeah, it's a blast. It's always fun coming here and seeing different cultures, but also testing yourself against other people you don't normally play against. My putting's coming around, ball striking's been better. You know, it's golf, so if you look at old scores, you always think you can be better, you know, but I know I'm on the right path of what we're working on, and so I'm looking forward to it.
Bubba tees off tonight, 7:30 Eastern Time, off number 10, playing alongside Tommy Fleetwood and Hao Tong Lee. As we say hello to Jim Gallagher Jr. and Matt Adams, of course, to talk Bubba. Makes sense, right? Bubba struggled a little bit this season. More so than we've seen from him in quite some time. When you've watched him, what's the difference, Jim?
Well, I mean, last year he missed 1 cut. This year he's 4 of 7 cuts made, so there's a big difference. It's 2 shots higher, gets to be his iron play. He's 7% less greens hit in regulations, hit it about 3 feet further away from the hole, and he's putting a lot of pressure on his putting, which is, as he mentioned in the sound, that's something he's trying to work on. But I think it's more about the iron play, more the distances, 125 to 150. He's dropped quite a bit. Also 150, 175 when you look at his statistics. You know, 3 feet doesn't sound like a lot, but in this game, it's a huge difference, and it gets down to iron play, Matt, and I think that's one of the things. You put so much pressure on your putting, which is already a weak part of your game, and you get trouble there.
If you take a look at the numbers, in fact, greens in regulation, he's ranked 194th this year, just over 62%. And the pressure that's put on his putting is also manifest in the numbers that you'll see from Bubba. From 3 feet, 185th ranked so far this season. From inside of 10 feet, 201st. So when we look at what he did at this event 1 year ago, yes, he had that tie for 8th finish, but he said he was having trouble on those greens because they were a little bit slower. So Bubba said he was going to go in with a lighter putter in 16 and hit it harder. When he got home, the engineers at Ping said, no, you want to do the complete opposite. So my sources out there have told me that this year, in starting tonight, you said in 90 minutes at the top of the show, Lisa, it's less than that now. He'll be going into battle here with a putter that has 20 more grams of weight on it so that he can get a little better feel on those greens.
And it gets to be confidence. Once you see some putts going in the hole, it just makes the hole even bigger.
You say 3 feet doesn't sound like a lot. I don't want a 3-footer under pressure.
Absolutely not. Neither does he. At least did he in the past.
There you go. Thanks, guys. Don't forget you can watch Bubba tonight in prime time at 10:30 Eastern Time.
You and me both on those 3-footers, Lisa. We're just getting started tonight on the show with all the great names from the state of Texas. Who are the top 5 golfers all time? We're going to show you our list. Plus, you're going to find out why the defending champs of the Bass Pro Legends won't make it 2 in a row. How's Long John Daly factoring into this breakup? And we're counting down the days to the players by looking at Tiger Woods' performance in this event 4 years ago.
Golf Central is brought to you by the new Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X. Choose the best for your game. Golf Now VIP. Say goodbye to convenience fees.